My next guest is no stranger to making things disappear. He's a master of illusion who's done behind-the-scenes work for big names like David Copperfield, Penn and Teller, and David Blaine. And now he's fooling great white sharks, that's right, instead of people. Please help me welcome to the show magician, author, filmmaker, podcast host, and inventor Andrew Mayne. So Andrew, tell me, invisible or not, why would you want to swim with great white sharks?
I mean, I think everybody wants to a degree, but, in my case, I'm scared of sharks, but my curiosity got the better of me. And I thought it'd be a great challenge as a magician who's used to fooling people. Could I use that to fool a shark or to make it possible for me to get really close to great whites?
What is part of the illusion? How did you make yourself disappear in this massive great white shark?
So, as humans, we rely on, particular senses. If, you're going to see a magician perform, probably the biggest sense that's used is sight. And with sharks, you start from thinking about how do sharks process the world, how do they sense the world around them, and work backwards from there. So I started with sight, and I built a suit, a prototype of a suit that was very dependent upon using technology, using LEDs and stuff to help me blend into the background. But with a great white shark, that's only part of it, because great whites, they use their sense of smell. They can actually sense electrical impulses, and they're really attuned to sound. So it wasn't enough that I could blend myself into the background visually. I had to go to great lengths to make sure that I was quiet too, using a rebreather, which prevented, the sound, the Darth Vader sound of a regulator, using sound dampening. I had EMF shielding, all sorts of stuff. So it was just figuring out, how do you fool the greatest predator there is?
And then how do you get yourself down there and you get the nerve to stand there?
So we used a submersible, which took us to the bottom, which is a little tiny little craft with propellers. And then I was there with Andy Casagrande, who's one of the greatest shark videographers there is. And he just swings open the door. And before I can test the suit, I have to do a baseline. I have to see what it's like without the suit. It's like your pass-fail. The fail in that situation is not very good. So he opened up the door. He's like, all right, you ready to go out? I'm like, how did I end up in this situation?
And so how many sharks were around you at that point?
Oh, goodness. So we were in the Isle of Jaws, which there's a seal feeding ground. So they have the sharks feed on the seals. They go eat them and they swim around. They do laps to burn off the calories or whatever. And there's an island there which is filled with death adders, so don't even bother swimming there. It's just like death everywhere. Just at the surface, there were great whites coming up inspecting the boat. At one point, one of them bit the submersible and released a valve, and air started leaking out. And then we're in 4 feet into the water, and there's just a great white looking at me like, what are you doing here, idiot? And you keep going down. There's just sharks everywhere. And by the time we got to the bottom, I think we counted 14 or 15 great whites just circling around going, what's up?
So then you, in your infinite wisdom, decided to then put on the suit?
So first what I did is I went outside the submersible without the suit. I had a shield. I had my shark shield, which, is more like a delightful little chew toy for them if they decided. So I went out without the suit. And guess what? Sharks were like, hey, let's go see what this guy's all about. They came up right up next to me. I had to bump them away. And I said, okay, they clearly are interested in me. So let me go back into, the submersible. We went back up, put on my ghost diver suit. I put this on, the full suit. We went back down. We got the lighting right. And it was absolutely spooky because the sharks ignored me. The sharks, where they had an interest before, they wanted to come up next to me. They were curious. They weren't like, when I was down there before, it wasn't like they were ready to eat me, because if they wanted to, they would have, but they are very curious. They're like wild dogs in a sense. And so the great whites first came up to me and inspected me, but once the suit was on, it was like I wasn't there.
Oh, really? That's fascinating.
Yeah. It was weird because I could not tell you what was going on in their minds. And, we had no idea what to expect, because there was the possibility that once we turned the thing on and I became illuminated and I blended into the background, that to a shark, it may have stood out like a neon sign and they may have decided just come right to me. So, we didn't know what would happen. But once the thing was on, it was, they just started to back away and lose interest. Do I think I was totally invisible to them? No. I think that they thought maybe there was something there, but I think that for them it was like, this is too weird, and they're very risk averse. It's hard to think of that, but a great white survives by making calculations of like, I'll eat that, won't eat that. And I think in my case, they're like, we don't know what that is. We'll just back off.
Okay, so now you have this shark repellent technology. Is there now a future product for you where you can take this technology and maybe develop it as a true shark repellent?
You had to do more research on these things, in our case, because like, I'll give you an example. So we built this idea of like, hey, how do you use, light to blend into the background? And we wanted to do a test first where we were going to test it with what looked like a sea turtle, because, sharks love to eat turtles, right? They love them, right? And we were going to float one on the surface, which was just a really good looking turtle decoy, which they've used before, which sharks just love to come up underneath and breach and just tear apart. And then we had another one where we put a mini version of my suit on it where it was going to blend into the background. The problem was, as we were going to test this at, the middle of the afternoon where the lighting would have matched the sky. So a shark looking up at this thing would see, ideally, look nothing. It would look like it was translucent because our lighting from the underneath of the suit would blend in with the sky. By the time we went to go test this thing, it was already dark out. So when we flipped the suit on, it just glowed. And guess what the sharks wanted to eat first? They went straight towards ghost turtle.
Yes.
And so, what shark repellent in the best situation could be shark attractant in another situation.
Now that you're the ghost diver, what's next?
Puppies. I'm gonna, just cuddle with cuddly animals next. That's gonna be the next goal.
You are in LA and they have puppy parties, so you could be at a puppy party.
There are a lot of crazy parties out here. I'll stick with the sharks in some cases. We're talking to the network about other things, more, other challenges and stuff, and we'll see. It's partially, it's like you can come up with a great idea, but like in this case, I'm like, I have a great idea. And I'm like thinking, theoretically, I didn't really see myself having to do it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us and for taking the time to tell us all about Ghost Diver. Isn't that guy amazing? And stay in the know with everything digitally related and sign up for my free newsletter. It's like Technology 101 delivered right to your inbox. Sign up today over at komando.com with the link right at the top of the homepage. Hey, thanks for watching. Now, a few things. Don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more digital know-how, check out all these other great links.